Hi, I'm Stephanie with Collected California, and if you've been here before, you know that I am a vintage reseller. I sell vintage home decor, and I like to bring you along as I thrift up and down the state of California. And today's video is a little bit different, but it's still shopping related. Back in the spring, when we were up in California's wine country doing some thrifting, while we were in Sonoma specifically, and I was doing some research about where we wanted to go thrifting, and I was looking at a map and I noticed that there was a Williams-Sonoma near downtown. Downtown is a small square with shops around the perimeter, and I noticed that there was a Williams-Sonoma. I've always been a fan of Williams-Sonoma. I'm a fan of cookware and kitchen gadgets and dishes and glassware and cookbooks. Everything that you can buy at a Williams-Sonoma, I am a fan of. So anyway, I've always been a fan and was excited to go check it out. So I'm gonna bring you along with me today as we toured, as we walked through the original store, looking at all the cool memorabilia and photos that they had all over the shop and picking up a souvenir or two. So the very first Williams-Sonoma did not start out as a kitchen store, but instead as a hardware store. And what I learned is that, see this yellow door? This was the original store. The yellow door was the entrance to the original store. As it states right here on the window, the very first store opened in 1956 when Chuck Williams, after going to Europe, was inspired by all of the beautiful cookware that he saw, and he decided he wanted to bring that back to his shop in downtown Sonoma. As you can see on this plaque and also the other signage hanging by the door, this was the original sign, the original pineapple and Williams-Sonoma sign from 1956. After 2 years of being in this location, Chuck eventually moved the store to San Francisco because it was such a hit. But in 2014, the company was able to reacquire the original shop and expanded it to make it a little bit larger. But it's fun because there's lots of memorabilia scattered throughout the shop, including this cool old article announcing the opening in 1956. Now here you can see the expansion there to the right where they put in a big kitchen. This space even right here, not original to the shop, but it's when you get into the space that has the black and white checkered tile that is the original shop. The original store is really quite small, but they did tell me that they tried to keep everything as true to how it was in the 1950s, from the black and white checkered floor to even the way that the shelves were built and laid out. I loved this display of Chuck Williams' private collection, and they are baking molds and tins and gadgets and tools that he picked up during his travels in France, specifically from special shops in Paris and even flea markets. So of course I was going to love this. Not only is this store filled with wonderful memorabilia, it's also a working Williams-Sonoma store, so there's plenty of stuff to buy brand new. But from the look of these dishes, I would say everything that's old is new again. And if you know anything about cabbageware and the Famille Rose set, yeah, you can find these not only in vintage stores, antique stores, but also brand new in Williams-Sonoma. constantly find vintage etched glassware at the thrift store, and I love thrifting it, and I've sold quite a bit in my Etsy shop. I think I have some in there now. So I found it interesting that here's something else that's old that Williams-Sonoma has made new again, that is inspired by things that they saw at an antique market. And I made a beeline for this wall of copper. Again, this wasn't for purchase, this was just beautiful display. And I wanted every single piece, and I wanted to recreate it in my own kitchen. I'm lucky enough to have a brass pot rack above my cooktop, and I've got a few pieces of copper, but I would love to have a nice, big, beautiful display like this one in my kitchen. Something else that's unique about this store is that there is a section for Williams-Sonoma Home that was actually Chuck's house. So his house was in the back of this shop. Clearly, Chuck's house has gone through a remodel and a bit of an upgrade. But still, this is where his original kitchen was. It's beautiful now, but it has all kinds of lovely dishware and cookware on display because it is still a working store. But I loved going through the kitchen and seeing how beautifully they had everything displayed. I loved how they made everything look like it had a bit of a lived-in vibe to it. And can we just take a moment of appreciation for this alabaster lamp? Both the base and the shade were alabaster. And I just had to look at the kitchen one more time. I have thrifted so many of these brass floor lamps, similar to this one. Let's just say I paid a lot less than $8.99. even though it was tempting to like buy something big and fun at this Williams-Sonoma, there were only a few things there that were unique to that particular store. And one of those things was a mug. And it's the mug with the original logo, the pineapple logo, and it says established in 1956. So I knew I was gonna come home with this, and I also came home with a apron that has the same logo on it. I like finding little treasures like this that, although not vintage, have a special, right, special memory attached to it from our trip. And it's just the perfect size for my morning tea. So I've been using this quite a bit. It was disappointing because the shopkeeper that was helping me, she said they were disappointed because she heard that they were gonna start selling these with this original logo online. And I thought, that kind of takes away from it being a special thing that only people that go to that original store can grab. But anyway, they didn't ask me my opinion. So I hope you enjoyed this little tour. Stick around. I'll get back to my regular content soon. As I like to say, every piece tells a story, and I'm glad that you're a part of mine. See you next time.